Welcome everyone to the Spring 2024 Virtual Career Fair. My name is Emily Dean, and I am the manager of Talent Pipeline at CFP Board. Today, we are joined by 4 industry leaders and subject matter experts on our topic of what's the right financial planning career path for me? So when we were reviewing registration data leading up to today's event, we saw a really widespread interest in the job role preferences of job seekers who want to be in the financial planning profession and who want to either enter into it or transition within the financial services industry. So we have folks who are here today who want to be financial planners or in wealth management. We also have those who are looking for more administration, support, or operational roles. And we have folks who want to give investment advice. And we have those who are more geared towards analyst types of positions. So this diversity of interest is met with myriad of options in the financial planning profession. So our panel of experts today is comprised of a couple of CFP pros in leadership roles and a couple in more client-facing ones. And they come from firms that have really different models and structures, and each of their backgrounds is incredibly unique. So they're going to be providing us with insight into this array of opportunities from their perspectives and share guidance on how to find the best firm and role for you. We're going to discuss how CFP certification can fit into your career plan as well. And then, of course, we will take some live questions during the last 5 minutes or so. So let's get started. Our panelists today are Angela Killingsworth, a CFP professional at TIAA, Olivia Ewing, a CFP professional at Edward Jones, Morgan Hemauer, a CFP professional at Charles Schwab, and Clarissa Barras, a CFP professional at Fidelity Investments. Welcome, and thank you all. Clarissa, we'll start with you. If you wouldn't mind just kickstarting with a brief introduction of your background and the career path you took to where you are today as a CFP pro at Fidelity. And then we'll go to Morgan, Olivia, and then Morgan and Angie.
Awesome. Well, good morning and or afternoon, depending on where you are here in this great nation. I'm Clarissa Barra, branch leader here at Fidelity Investments. I'm here in our Houston Champion Forest location. I started off, so my education, I got my BBA in finance from Texas A&M University. I originally actually began as a psychology major in school with a business minor. But after my first personal finance class, I fell in love with the magic of compound investing. And I still am. It's one of my first loves, even before I met my husband. So I've been in the financial services industry for about 15 years. Through that, I've had several different roles. I spent majority of my career in an advising seat. I did move into the leadership role about 4 years ago. 5 years ago. That snuck up. So about 5 years ago, and I absolutely love it. It gives me the satisfaction that I had as an advisor in being able to change family trees and entire lives, which is a pretty cool thing to say about this career and this industry as a whole. So being able to do it at a multiplicative level in the leadership space is incredibly rewarding. I chose to go and get my CFP back in 2013 when it was still Scantron and you had to wait like 6 weeks to get your results. I chose to go that route. I was actually supporting a wealth management team. And I got so involved with how they were, or curious around how it was that they were running their practice and the relationships that they were having, the conversations that happened after I set the appointment or, before I did the onboarding call and all of that. So I started that journey while I was still in that support capacity, and it really solidified my want and desire to be the one across the table. So thank you all. Look forward to talking to you more.
Thanks, Clarissa. Olivia, you want to go next?
Absolutely. So Olivia Ewing, Edward Jones. I am a financial advisor, so I work face-to-face with clients each and every day, and I am located in Atlanta, Georgia. And I too will start just like Clarissa in my education background. So I would say I had a little bit more of a traditional experience. So I went to school in St. Louis. So I went to Washington University in St. Louis. I have a finance degree from there, but I also have a minor in education. And initially, when I started my career path, I thought that I wanted to be a finance college professor because there weren't a ton of financial professors that I had that looked like me. And so I was like, okay, I want to study that. And I love that. And the more and more I got into the material and learned about it, the more I realized that I wanted to help everyday Americans increase their education as it related to their finances. Going into my junior year, maybe my senior year, I did an internship at Edward Jones, which is also based in St. Louis, in our back office and our home office. And I actually worked in our insurance area, and I recognized that the financial services world was huge. And there were so many different paths that you could go in. And I wasn't quite sure at the time that I wanted to be client facing. And so I actually applied to be in our home office. And I worked in our home office for 4 years on a plethora of different topics, mostly with our time value of money tool. So, Clarissa, I also love compounding. So I worked with some of our new tools and technologies. I did training. And as a part of that program, you also had an opportunity to do what are called branch visits, where you sat with advisors and shadowed them throughout their day as they faced clients and reviewed portfolios and all of that. And I loved it. And I was right at that crossroads 2 years into my career where I decided, do I want to pursue more education? And in the back of my mind, I always thought I wanted to get an MBA because that's what you get, right? And as I got more into the industry, I realized, oh, there's this thing called the CFP. And I just started taking the courses pretty early on. I remember my manager at the time said, "You don't really need this." I said, "Yeah, but I kind of want to get it." They said, "Well, no problem. If you want to get it, go get it." And so they were able to support me to do that. Studied over lunch while I was working during that period. I set for it in 2016. And by the time I set for that exam, I knew for sure that I wanted to be client facing. So I took the November 2016 exam, and by February of 2017, I was client facing. And I moved to Atlanta, and I have been there or been here almost 7 years now. And I love everything that financial planning allows you to do and able to sit across the table from people and help them. And I really believe that pursuing the CFP helped me understand that this industry is more than stocks and bonds and more than sales and more than those things, but really about helping people achieve their lifelong goals and walking alongside of them. And I think it really married my love for finance and then my love for education all in one. So that's a little bit about how I got to where I am.
I love that. Thanks, Olivia. Morgan, do you want to go next?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Morgan Hemauer. I'm currently a manager of associate financial planners at Charles Schwab. I actually started a very different career path. I was pre-med for half of college and then switched to sport marketing and management with a minor in business. Went into the sales route within sports, also did some recruiting. And throughout that time, I kept feeling like I was missing a key part of what I cared about, helping other people. I help people in different ways, but not in a way I felt was as impactful. I went ahead and actually left my job without an idea of where I wanted to go just yet, but had that feeling of I need to have a change. And that brought me to Charles Schwab. I was fortunate enough that my mom actually worked for Charles Schwab for 33 years. I was able to see how her career was able to evolve and develop from working our 800 line to leading teams to helping launch IPOs to leading supervision and controls. I saw that I could go to a company and try different roles, not just be stuck in one for my entire career. I could test it out. So I ended up joining their financial consultant academy. I was in that for about a year and a half, where at the end I got relocated to Denver, Colorado. I was very thankful for that. There were a lot on the list, and started my career as a financial consultant. Throughout that time, there were clients that wanted to talk to a CFP in particular, or there were clients that just were completely lost and didn't know what to do. And we were there to help. And throughout that time, I found my passion for planning. I always believe we can't create a path. We can't go into this managed solution or decide on this until we know where we're at and where we're going. And what a better way to do than with a plan. And so I ended up leading a lot of training across the country regarding financial planning, which led to my current role. We developed a new team dedicated specifically to all of our internal partners, helping with financial planning. I'm now leading that team. I decided to go ahead and pursue my CFP last year, actually. So very recent CFP, but was instilling those skill sets long before it. Passed in July of last year. And I want to go the leadership route in management now. And at Schwab, they want you to have your CFP, whether you're client facing or you're going into leadership and managing people that have their CFP. So that's what led me here. Very passionate about planning and excited to go ahead and talk more to all of you. And the panel that we have today is phenomenal and excited to hear more of their stories too.
Thanks so much, Morgan. And Angie, how about you?
Well, congrats, Morgan, on recently passing. I know, it's been a decade or so since I took mine, so I'm just doing continuing education. But I'm Angie Killingsworth, Wealth Management Advisor with TIAA down in Birmingham, Alabama. I went to the University of Alabama thinking I was going to be an accountant. Both my parents are accountants, my uncle was an accountant. And I was working at a bar, but like balancing, doing QuickBooks, like sitting in the office. They had a little camera that you could click out and see what was going on out there. And I saw all those people having fun. And I'm just sitting, clicking, doing, and I'm like, this is not for me. This is not for me. So I realized that I couldn't do that for the rest of my life. I needed to marry the two things, right? Marry the money and numbers with the people. Otherwise I was going to be bored. So I changed my major just to finance with an econ minor. I did an internship with an insurance company while I was in school, graduated, worked there for another 7 years. And I was young, right? And working in the South. I got a lot of the comments of, oh, sweetie, you could be my granddaughter, right? So I thought, well, maybe some initials behind my name could give me some instant credibility. So I took some, courses and got my CLU and CFP, just to help create that instant, knowledge, right? So worked there for a little while, realized that it was kind of only insurance and I wanted to get more into investments. Left, went to a brokerage firm, felt like it was only investments, and I really wanted that holistic planning and not just commission-based where you feel like you have to sell something to be able to eat, right? Some people love it, right? It's the drive. I wanted no strings attached, just to do what I wanted to do and help people plan. So when I found TIAA, which at the time I thought, this is too good to be true. Turns out it's not. And I've been here for a little over 7 years now, and I'm loving it. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks y'all so much. What a rock star group we have here today. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. There are a lot of misconceptions about the financial services industry and the financial planning profession. Clarissa, what do you think is the biggest misconception about financial planning careers?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones, and I think I'll talk to it from those considering joining it, not necessarily those who perceive it from the outside, but for those considering joining it, is that you have to be good with the numbers. Like you have to be good with the math. Like if you don't know the math and the things, or being able to calculate, the alpha and standard deviation on things, like you're not going to be good at it. But at the end of the day, personal financial planning is about people, and it's about relationships and the ability to connect, hear, understand, and care. And if you are good at that, those things, you will be an incredible financial advisor, and someone that people can trust their, their livelihoods with, and, their goals and their dreams. So I would say that's the biggest misconception that I hear from those that are hesitant about, pursuing the industry.
Absolutely. Olivia, what do you think is the biggest misconception about the career?
Yeah, I would say that the person who should be in the seat has evolved over time, right? And there's a big misconception. So when I started being client facing, I was 25, 26 years old. So very young, didn't have a lot of rich friends, didn't have a lot of connections in that space. But I think by finding an organization that really specialized in helping people build a practice, and it really wasn't as cutthroat as I think I thought it would be, right? I thought it would be this really competitive space, and you're watching Wolf of Wall Street and they're making the calls and you're doing all of those. And it's really nothing like that. Like some of the people and my colleagues that I work with are friends. Like we travel together, we are helping each other, we're supporting each other, learning. So just finding that right community within the financial services industry can be done just like anywhere else.
Love that. Morgan, what do you think?
So kind of hinted it at the beginning as far as there's only one path or maybe two where you're an advisor. And that's all that the finance is. And that's once you're in it, that's the only way that you can make money or make an impact. But there's not. There's so many routes that you can go, whether you're analytical or not. Just like Clarissa said, I am not a math person, nor will I ever hope to be. But whether that's your strength or relationship building, if you care about people and you're willing to learn, you don't have to have that background or that skill set to be good at your job. What I've learned in coming in, again, nothing necessarily related to finance, is there's so much support, at multiple firms, not just at Charles Schwab. I've heard it from friends and others. And there's so many pathways to go. Once you go into one, you can transfer those skills and knowledge into another role. You're not stuck in one. And there's just so many opportunities out there, whether it's technology, it's service, it's that wealth advisors. There's an endless abundance of roles out there, and you just need to get one to get started and see where it takes you and what you end up liking from it.
Such a good point. I know you all are major fans of the firms that you currently work at. So let's get into those firms and their characteristics and their structure. Angie, I'm going to start with you. Why did you pick TIAA as the firm that you felt was best fit for you?
Well, originally, the planning, but also it's a salaried position. A lot of places are not, like I mentioned, like the commission-based, eat what you kill. So salaried position, and there's a built-in client base of institutional clients that need help. So it wasn't building your own book from scratch, where you have to start from the bottom. TIAA was originally established in 1918 to provide retirement security for educators. So we had one investment, and it was a pension, and that's what we were there for. Over the years, they've obviously added, and it's a full suite of services. But we're the largest plan administrator for nonprofit employer plans, second to Social Security in providing retirement income. So there's the built-in kind of client base that we have that we just get to service. So being on the wealth management side, I work with participants that have a certain level of assets and complexity with planning needs, but there are roles that help on the institutional side, or help there are a lot of different types of arenas that you can get into, as everybody's kind of mentioned. But so I mainly work with educators and physicians, and we can help anybody now. So it can be Joe down the street too. So that's what brought me to TIAA. But even since being here, you then learn the little facts about your company and what's important to them. So We're constantly on the world's most ethical companies list, and our leadership prioritizes equity and inclusion, and it's really pushing for education for participants and the whole world, right? To make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to retire. So it's just been a really great place to work.
That's awesome. Clarissa, what about Fidelity? What drew you to Fidelity Investments?
Yeah, so when I graduated from college, it was 2009, by the way, y'all. And if you weren't around 2009 and had any type of money invested anywhere, it was wild, wild time. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get a job, number one. And then not only that, in financial services, but I had the opportunity to go on what were called like externships, which are essentially company visits. And one of the companies that we visited was Fidelity, and we visited a regional center up in Westlake, Texas. And by then, this was our last stop, y'all. We had gone all over like Houston. I'm tired. I'm like, okay, what else are we going to be sold when we go in here? And when I walked into that building, I was completely taken aback by how chipper everybody was. I was like, what? First off, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is everyone in such a good mood? Why is everyone so happy to be here? I was skeptical. But I thought maybe this is a welcome party. But no, then we go up to the different floors and different divisions. Everyone is so happy to be doing their job. And I made the decision right then. I was like, look, I don't know what I have to do. Put me in the mailroom, but put me in a place where people are excited to be in a cubicle talking to people on the phone. Put me in the place where a company cares so much about their people, it is oozing through in how they are walking down the hallway and interacting with each other. So I say all that to say, as far as that's what got me here. What's kept me here for 15 years is that I've gotten to see that come to life. I've gotten to see that in the benefits we have for our associates, the way that we get to have every solution available to our clients, and it makes sense for them. And we get to go home every night, resting easy, knowing, hey, I know I did the right thing by this person. And at 5:01 p.m., I go home with my family and I'm well compensated for doing so. So that's what got me here. It's what's kept me here. And if you bring me back in 10 years, it'll still be why I'm here. So thanks, Emily.
That's amazing. And Olivia, what brought you to Edward Jones? What's kept you there?
Yeah. So what brought me there was a little bit of dumb luck, right? So I just happened to be in St. Louis, right? Like that's where I went to school, and Edward Jones is headquartered in St. Louis. So I actually found St. Louis my sophomore year, the summer before that, at a career fair, just like literally walking around, and knew that that's what I wanted to do, and had the opportunity to do a campus tour and do that. So that's what originally brought me there. But as I learned more about the firm and joined the firm over the course of I guess almost 12 years that I've been there, 11 or 12 years that I've been there, in multiple different arenas, what has definitely kept me there, particularly in the role of a client-facing financial advisor, a couple things. So the first being our world-class training. So we are well known to also have advisors start really young in their career and build along the way. So there's a process, there's a formula that is taught really, really, really well. And so I wanted to make sure that was something, because I knew I didn't really have that background. Number two was we have the reputation and are known for working with any and everyone, and that was really important to me. So there were other firms where you had to have a $250,000 minimum or a $500,000 minimum or things like that. And again, at the time at 25 or 26, that wasn't really a clientele that I was working with just yet. And so I wanted to be able to help all types of people on how I choose. So there weren't quotas for different components or different things like that. So I thought that was really important. The third thing I'll mention is the flexibility in the career path. So Right now, you can build your practice in your own individual office. I'm actually in a group with 3 other advisors. So we share support. So you can decide how you want that to look. You decide your hours, what that, do you want to work Saturdays? Do you leave at 2 o'clock? Right, that complete autonomy and how you build your business was really important, and how you continue to maintain and grow that. And then last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, but we're a partnership and one of the largest partnerships in North America, which means that we don't have quarterly performance, that and a stock price. And so what that allows us to do is to make longer term decisions. Also, as you're able to be a part of the organization, you have an opportunity to become a limited and general partner and share in that. And I thought that that was really, really important because everyone who works here is a part of that organization. So those are some of the reasons that I really enjoy that and Edward Jones and continue to be here.
Thanks for sharing. Now, Morgan and Clarissa, you're in more leadership type of roles. Can you talk us through what qualities you look for in new talent? Morgan, we'll start with you.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, lots of different roles. So I'll kind of do a broad and then what I look for in my team as far as financial planners go. So each role is different at the core, but what Schwab cares about and one of our statements is see through the client's eyes. So we're always looking for someone who truly wants to make an impact, that they can have on the clients and on the company, their peers, where this company's going. We're always evolving. Those who are ready to learn and adapt. Finance may seem like a set in stone, thing, but it's also evolving. You never know what's going to come down. We had, 2000, 2001, 2008 and 9, 2020. There's always something that shakes it up. And we need people that are able to go ahead and adapt to that, learn. And for my own role and what we're looking for, passion, integrity, people who have a sense who they are so that they can go ahead and bring new ideas, bring their experiences, their own personalities to the team. We pride ourselves in having a very diverse group of people and experiences that can relate to clients. Right now, even, we have 7 positions open in Westlake, and we're looking for the people who are passionate about planning, passionate about clients. Again, the skill set doesn't all have to be there. It's almost more about those soft skills that you have, and everything else can be taught. Obviously, still get your CFP if you're pursuing it, because that helps. But, really looking for that passion and the drive to learn and evolve.
Clarissa, how about you?
Yeah, so for me, it all boils down to the 3 C's. The first one is coachability. To Morgan's point, you don't have to know it all, but you have to be willing to learn it all and put it into practice. You will never fail at Fidelity for a lack of resources, but you will from a lack of effort, right? So being able to not only take the coaching, act on it, and be participatory in that coaching process is incredibly important. Second C is collaborative. We work on teams with intentionality, and it's meant to be supportive. Not only, I liken it to my, when I have a meeting with my team, as they never come to a table empty-handed. We happen to be in the South, so I can talk about like Southern generosity. Like you never show up to someone's house empty-handed. You never show up to a meeting or a space with your team empty-handed. Be coming to contribute, to help, to have some type of insight, because that is how we all grow. It's how we become better than we were yesterday and better than we will be tomorrow. So collaboration is the second one. Final C is curious, right? That's how you go from good to great. Being constantly curious about how something can be better. If you were awesome, how do you become incredible? If you're incredible, how do you become like unmatchable? Like, how do we get to that next level? And staying curious is what continues your growth within your career. So that's what I look for. If you have it, let me know.
I wrote that down. 3 C's, y'all. Coachability, collaborative, curious. I'll add even a fourth, the CFP certification.
Hey, that
why
one's
not?
for free.
Awesome. Let's go even deeper into your daily roles and kind of what a common day looks like for you. Angie, in your client-facing type of dynamic, can you tell us more about what responsibilities you hold and what skills you think are really required to excel in your role?
Yes. So every day's a little different, every week's a little different, but it can get a little hectic. So I color code my calendar. Client meetings are one color, internal meetings are another color. So I typically have about 3 meetings a day with clients. Those are lasting an hour and a half. Sometimes there's a fourth one thrown in there. And then client calls and emails and, day to day. So you need to have some bit of organizational skill, just to make sure that you're not just creating total chaos. I create a good bit of chaos, but it's organized chaos. I meet with my team, so I have an administrative assistant and a client relationship manager that I work with. So my AA will set meetings and put them on my calendar. My client relationship manager will do a lot of the service work, if there are distributions or forms, those kind of things. So we really have a great partnership and work together to make sure things don't fall through the cracks. And we have special things that we do, but I won't bore you all with that. But so my time is, I'm focusing face to face with clients, like you said. So there is some prep time to look through the plans and make sure, the actual financial plan looks correct. Creating some documents and whatnot to be able to go through. Sometimes we have an agenda, sometimes, it's the client's agenda to hit the high points. But, it's, some of my meetings are the discovery meetings, right? Like getting to know the client. And that's the fun part. And some of them are the, going through the plan and going through the numbers and the, probability analysis and all of that, and talking about allocation, talking about, the stuff, the solutions, what we can do to make sure they leave in a better position when they came in. So some of it's like they talked about, you just being a person, getting to know your clients and doing the right thing for them. And the rest just comes naturally or can be taught, right?
Olivia, is it similar or different for you?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty similar. So I'll quickly add that I would say, given week, month, I probably spend about 60% of my time being client facing, right? So whether that's onboarding clients, designing for clients, presenting to clients, helping with client needs. I'd probably spend about 20% of my time in what I would call like skill building, leadership, branch office administrative like things. So I have a team of admins that I work with, right? So start to build your skills, stay up to date in the market, those things. So and then leadership. So I spend about 20% in that space. And then I'd say I'd spend the remaining 20% continuing to build the practice, right? Continuing to stay sharp in the industry, meeting new clients, onboarding new clients throughout that. So each day to that point looks a little different. Sometimes it's all client meetings, sometimes it's all learning, sometimes it's all administrative, but most of my time is in front of clients, which is what I love and why I'm in this particular today.
Awesome. Now, Morgan, as a leader, can you describe your typical team or like firm-based responsibilities?
Yes. So relating to our centralized planning group and my associate financial planners, for instance, are dedicated to all of our internal partners, whether it's a financial consultant, a wealth advisor, a certified financial planner. They're helping with Money Guide Pro is the system that we use, data input, understanding those results, having the conversations with the clients. Majority of our day is spent with presentations. We help with training, education. We do series of training, deep dive into Money Guide Pro. We also do office hours talking about Social Security, not only how we input it into the plan, but how we have that conversation with a client, talking about Medicare, talking about, annuities, all the things that we get a lot of questions on. My team helps instill and upgrade the knowledge of everyone at Schwab that deals with financial planning. And starting in July, we'll actually be transitioning to more of a paraplanner role, where my individuals will be doing discovery calls, doing deliveries, helping further with the financial planning aspect. This role is designed to go into financial planning and be a financial consultant, well, financial planner. And so all of our financial planners, they deal with clients day in, day out. They're at least doing 6 meetings a day with clients, ranging from those who have managed solutions that offer ongoing planning, or a referral from our partners in the field to get a more comprehensive plan accomplished. Because we have different levels of planning at Schwab, from basic plans to comprehensive to senior planners that deep dive into tax and estate. So we help cover all of that and help move forward planning across the company and help, again, upscale the knowledge and skill for our clients.
Incredible. Angie, what do you like most about your job?
If you can't tell, it's the people. It's working with the clients. I would say most of my clients are probably 60s, 70s, 80s. A lot of them are on the brink of retirement and in retirement. So, just this week, jokingly was talking to one of mine, and he said that he just got a part-time job in retirement, chauffeuring his grandkids around to soccer games, and it's hearing the fun stuff. I had another one that this week told me that his charitable giving account, he has gotten it over $1 million. So he's been able to add enough to that charitable giving account that, he's like, I got it to $1 million. And he's like, it's my hobby. I get to give, and it's so rewarding. It's those fun stories, but it's also, last night, talked with a daughter of one of my clients, and he has been officially diagnosed with dementia, and she's power of attorney, but having worked with the parents and now with her, she was so grateful, right? In us having gone through the plan and making the adjustments and making sure things were set up for them. So it's the fun stuff, but it's the hard stuff too. Just, it's very rewarding, getting to work with and hear all the stories. And it makes me excited for, me to one day retire.
I love it. Olivia, what about you?
I would say, oddly, my favorite thing is when I have that client that comes in and they have like all the stuff, right? They have statements from 8 different jobs, and they've done all, and they have no idea what it looks like and what to do. And sometimes an hour later, they're just like, I am so glad we were able to sit down, put something together, give me peace of mind, give me the confidence to be able to use the dollars, the tools to be able to achieve what they want to achieve in life, right? And so like that just brings me a lot of joy when I can see that stress and that they found their person in me to help navigate them, their family, to be able to do the things that they want to do, and building that trust and seeing that trust be able to implement it and applied, so that way we can actually achieve those things. And and you have those hard days with some scenarios and different things. I personally like talking clients off the ledge when it comes to market volatility. Also like that. That's super fun to me. I don't know why, but it is. And especially when they kind of come back and they're like, I'm so glad I didn't do that, right? So some of it's a little bit delayed in what it looks like, but those are some of my favorite things that I'm able to help people do.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Clarissa, I'm going to turn over to you. If we could talk a little bit about kind of the industry at large and why you think now is a good time for folks to be pursuing CFP certification.
Whew. There's a few, but I don't have time to go through all of them. I'm gonna pick my favorite. So one interesting statistic that I came across not too long ago was the percentage of financial advisors that are currently in the seat, but have not experienced like an extended recessionary period in navigating clients through it. And I've seen there's some things I'm doing proactively with my team to prepare them for some of those conversations. But when I think about when it comes time to like grab that client by the shoulders, like not literally, but figuratively, right? And give them that piece. The preparation process and understanding like everything that you really get the chance to do and go through from a CFP perspective helps to give you not only the confidence, but the ability to navigate a lot of those really tricky conversations. Um, it's not going to be the only thing. You know, there's some other investments that you'll need to make into yourself to be prepared for those conversations, but it can be a really, really impactful thing that you will be thankful for looking backwards that you did.
Awesome, thanks. Olivia, we have a question from one of our job seekers, kind of in this same vein about the industry at large and how CFP certification fits in. But their question is kind of your take on how AI might be impacting the financial planning industry. Has that impacted your role in a client-facing
Absolutely.
way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that even brings more to light why the CFP is more important, right? Because the industry is changing, right? Decades ago, a financial advisor gave you access to the market, right? You can just get on your phone and buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, right? Today, right, there are algorithms that exist, right, through all types of um, different companies, robo-advisors, things of that nature that are being powered by AI. And there's a plethora of information that exists, but having your CFP, having that skill set, and then being able to sit and actually be a real person to help guide someone is really the value that we bring. And I think having the skill set of the CFP just really solidifies that, right? Those algorithms help us get much, much faster, which I love, right? So we, and I'm sure every institution we're using AI to help us understand maybe some things that, you know, maybe this person needs a conversation about long-term care, or this person needs to have their portfolio adjusted. And it allows us to spend less time there and more time actually in front of clients, helping walk through life with them as they're achieving their goals. So I think AI is a great tool, but that means that the relationship part needs to continue to grow. And the CFP allows you to do that in a great way.
Thanks, Olivia. Angie, we've got a question that I think potentially is best for you. One of our job seekers has asked, I believe sometimes in our industry, we overlook the behavioral side of finance. How do you navigate those tough client conversations? For example, like a client and her daughter have a feud, but the grandmother wants to help her grandchildren with college expenses. Is this something that you've perhaps faced, or how would you navigate a tough client conversation?
Yeah. Families, right? I mean, it's bringing it back to the basics, right? And having the tough conversations. So you do have to have a lot of those conversations. But doing it the right way and leaning on the CFP, on the process, lean on the process. Don't, you know, yes, behavioral, having the tough conversations, right? But doing what's best for the client and what they want. And whether, you know, if that's setting up trust for grandkids for education, skipping, I think, was that skipping over kind of the middle generation? Was it grandma trying to give granddaughter some money?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, worked with somebody this week on doing that. After education was done, we revert the money, you know, in the trust back to the daughter. Working with attorneys, working with accountants, working with those people, you have to have good relationships, but you can do it.
Thanks, Angie. Morgan, this question is definitely for you. What advice would you give a person making a career change to a CFP professional?
Yes. So I think with that is don't overthink it. Don't go ahead and focus on the 5 steps ahead. Focus on what's that first step that you need to take to even just get your foot in the door. Whether that's, hey, I'm going to start as a service representative who's answering those 800 lines and helping the client. From there, I'm going to go ahead and get all my licensing that I need. Then the next step after that, where do I want to go? Just one step at a time. You can have things laid out, but don't overthink or feel that you need to have all these certifications, this licensing, this experience to get your foot in the door, because you don't. I know plenty of people who currently on my team, one was a choir teacher in high school. She now has her CFP after 3 years of working at Charles Schwab. Again, straight from a teacher to working at Charles Schwab. She worked in correspondence at Charles Schwab before going into my role. I have individuals who went ahead and they just graduated from college and started with our internships and then joined the team. Individuals that were career changers at age 60, where, hey, I really like doing, this role, but finance is calling to me and I want to better myself and help other people. So again, biggest thing is don't overthink it. Just take that first step, network with individuals, and just lay out, what do I like to do? And what is that first role that could help fulfill that and be that stepping stone?
Awesome. We're already a minute over. I know there are a bunch of other Q&A questions. We will track all of these. We will ensure that we get these questions answered from our job seekers who are viewing today. But thank you so much to our panelists. Your professional journeys, they're incredible, they're aspirational, but you've also made them sound really achievable. So for that, we are incredibly grateful. To learn more, job seekers, be sure to visit, the booths at Edward Jones, at Charles Schwab, at Fidelity Investments, and at TIAA. They are all here at the fair waiting to connect with you. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.